Hi everyone, welcome to Storm Chaser, a life story of an unusual man. This is episode 21, part 2 of the My Childhood mini-series. My name is John. At this point, I typically would say I'm from Anaheim, California, but today this episode is brought to you from beautiful outdoor in Springdale, Utah. By God's grace and blessing, I am vacationing here with my oldest son mentioned in episode 18. If you have not watched that episode, I encourage you to watch it and see why this vacation is so special to me. Okay, please pardon the noises and some people walking by in the background. After all, this is outdoor. Okay, my last episode was all about my head injuries. But in this episode, as I promised, I will share with you some of the bad stuff that I've done while I was growing up. Just a clarification, bad is a relative term. Bad to me may be not so bad to some of you. But no, I did not commit a murder. But I got your attention, at least some of you, didn't I? Okay. Well, in any case, there are so many stories, I really don't know exactly where to begin. So let me just start when I was in a junior high age. You see, during that time of my life, I became very self-conscious about my appearance. I believe it was due to my physical uniqueness that I hardly have any friends. My self-esteem began to drop. My mom was working all the time. Although I have two older brothers, due to the educational system in Hong Kong at that time, we were all attending different schools and have different sets of friends. My circle of friends contained only a couple of boys who were in a similar family dynamic as me. One day the teacher, myself, said something that set me off, so I just walked out of the classroom. I didn't go home that day, but decided to spend the night in my friend's house. Silly me at the age of 13 thinking I was going to run away and make it on my own. But somehow reality set in and recognized that was not such a good idea. Without a better solution, I decided to just go back home to my old crappy environment. I didn't really like my life back then. So, as I grew a little older, I began to do all sorts of unlawful activities. I knew I didn't really have to do those things, but my life was so empty that I had to do something to prove myself some sort of accomplishment. Let me tell you some of these accomplishments that I did. One of them was my friend and I used to cut classes and went to have dim sum. We would sit close to the side or the back door. We would just eat to our heart's content and simply escape without paying the bill. I call there, eat, and run to himself. Well, one time, while I was playing around with photography, I accidentally came up with a process to develop pictures where the image will fade completely over a few hours under a lighted environment. I then produced a couple of fake student IDs for my friend and I. We then went and rented 2 brand new bikes and rode away. We never returned them. For a short period of time, I used to smoke. You know, it's just typical peer pressure thing at that time. But I thank God for delivering me from this bad habit as soon as I became a Christian later on. Now, I can hardly breathe around people that smoke. And one time I remember it was shortly before we were immigrated to America. My academic score was failing so badly that I was about to be forced to repeat that grade in the following year, knowing I will move to America, and I did not really want my mom to know. So I forged her signature on the report card and returned it to the school office. Otherwise, the school will contact my mom, and she would have found out that my failing academic score. Well, above all, there is one unforgettable story that I'm about to share with you. You see, oftentimes my cohort and I would go into department store wearing long or baggy clothing. We would play a game to see who is the better shoplifter. We would split up, and then we would meet back in a certain location and time, and we compare who gets the most in quantity and in value. We did that for a couple of years. One day, I remember it was a rainy day. I got my prize in my pocket with me. While I was walking out of the department store, well, one of the security guards grabbed my arm and asked me to go with him to the security office. Well, yes, finally I was caught. They questioned me, took photographs of me, and filled out some paperwork. It took over 2 hours. During the whole time, I was not scared. I thought to myself, well, this may be a chance for me to have a change of the environment going into prison. Unfortunately, they elected to call my mom to come pick me up instead. What a disappointment that was, right? I had no remorse in what I have done at that time. My mom was yelling at me the whole time we were going home. I just kept quiet and thought to myself, Mom, only if you know how I really feel inside and the reason why I did it. Well, I will just stop the story right here. So, to end this mini-series on my childhood, I want to reiterate why I did what I did. My mom used to tell me I was her third boy. She said to me she would rather have a girl. She used to dress me up as a girl for her own entertainment. Thank goodness I don't have such memory in my mind. What I do remember clearly is that she repeatedly said to me that I was picked up from inside a trash can on the side of the street. Until today, I still cannot deny this statement is not true. Why was I the only one that was not born in Hong Kong? Why do I have this physical ailment when my two older brothers were perfectly healthy? Think about why. God only knows. Throughout my childhood, due to the physical uniqueness, I had very low self-esteem. I questioned myself all the time why I am who I am. Why do I feel the way I do? A dear friend of mine recently shared with me she learned at her teenage years that different is a beautiful thing. This made me wish someone like my dad or my mom would have instilled this kind of attitude in me back then. Where were they during my teenage year? Or my entire childhood, for that matter? Where was my male mentor when my life really needed one? Although my childhood was without a presence of an earthly father, and did not know why the things happened the way they did. But I know now my life was planned by God all along, before and after America. Without it, I won't be here sharing the life story of an unusual man with you, correct? Lastly, I'm sure some of you are wondering where my dad was during my childhood. Was he really simply making money to put food on our tables? Is that all that he did all this time? I promise you, in a future episode, soon, maybe soon, I will share stories with title of My Dad and I. There you will find out what kind of relationship I had with my earthly father. Throughout different parts of my life. And then from there, I may spin off to share my upbringing, how my upbringing affect what kind of dad I was to my two sons. If this sounds good to you, stay tuned. Well, how do you stay tuned? Well, click on the subscribe button, I think is on that side or the bottom, and the notification bell icon. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up or give me a comment if you like. Email me at prayer.stormchaser@gmail.com with any question or prayer request that you may have. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Until next episode, Storm Chaser out.